Welcome back, everyone, from your break. I hope you had a good stretch, moved around a little bit, and we'll get settled in right now for the second part of today's session, where we're going to be looking at do-it-yourself videos with Zach Whitney from the Utah Department of Transportation. So before I bring Zach on, we just wanted to take a quick poll and see how much experience you have with do-it-yourself videos, whether you're a YouTuber in your personal life or whether for work. How much experience do you have in producing these types of do-it-yourself videos? So we're talking about the ones where you're not in a recording studio, you don't have professional help with it, but just the ones that you may take quite simply with your own personal recording device. And Zach will talk in more detail about what exactly these do-it-yourself videos are. Go ahead and use Pull Everywhere, either in your web browser or using your cell phone. So it looks like, we have probably about 80% of our participants here today consider themselves having either no experience or not very experienced. And about 17% somewhat experienced and 9% very experienced. I wonder if Zach, you took the poll as well, and if you're counted within that 9%. But so that's our breakdown for the participants, and thank you everyone for responding to that poll. Now I'd like to introduce Zach Whitney from the Utah Department of Transportation. Zach has been our subject matter expert for this topic of using do-it-yourself videos and has presented previously in one of our virtual peer exchanges. He's going to talk a little bit about what do-it-yourself videos are, and share with you his experiences, kind of lessons learned, and hopefully help you avoid some of the pitfalls when you're creating this type of content, and then lead us in an exercise. So Zach, I'll turn things over to you. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, thank you so much for that great introduction, and thank you for that poll. It's nice to kind of get an idea of where everybody's comfort level is. And honestly, it's a little comforting to know that there are people out there that don't feel comfortable, because I think that's an okay place to be. It's okay to not be super comfortable with videos. But I also want to say, I think we need to give ourselves a little bit more grace on maybe that question, because I know everybody has a cell phone, and on that cell phone has a camera, and at some point you've taken a video with your camera, and so that is a do-it-yourself video. So we're going to talk a little bit about just do-it-yourself videos. I'm going to share some of my experiences and hopefully inspire you. My goal here is to inspire you to do it-yourself videos. I just wanted to, let's see. Are you seeing a presentation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go.
I just wanted to run through a couple of slides just to kind of set the stage here, and I don't want to take a long time because I want to leave plenty of time for our activity. I was just going to introduce myself. I'm Zach Whitney, Communication Manager for the Department of Transportation. This is me with my really fancy camera, but don't let that intimidate you either. Because as we're going to talk, we can take video with just about anything these days. My background, just so that I came from a broadcast news background. I was a television news reporter for about 7 years before I switched to government communication. And so I bring with me that background of video and visual storytelling, and I use it in everything that I do. I really think that video and visual storytelling is a really robust and dynamic way of telling our own story, which is one of the main things that I try to do here at UDOT, is to help the department tell their own story. We do that through a lot of times through the videos that we produce. When I was brought on to the department, I came on kind of in this transition area where the department really wanted to not necessarily rely so much on the news organizations to get our story out. We wanted to be able to do a lot of it ourselves. The advantage of that, obviously, is that we can control the story, we control the narrative, and we're able to focus the story where we want it to be. Rather than whatever the news organization decides they want it to be. And so there's just a couple of pictures of some of the stories that we have told over the last few years, different projects, new innovations, and things like that. I wanted to show a couple of stories that we've done, and we won't watch these too much. In fact, I'll probably mute this one so we don't even have any audio on it. This is a story that we told. We had some windstorms, and some trees came down, and our crews went out to clear the trees. Obviously, this wasn't in their job description. This isn't something that we're necessarily in charge of as a state agency. But it was a cool story. It was nice human element to our crews, and so we wanted to tell that story. So we went out with a camera, with a microphone, and just filmed filmed our crews cutting up branches, cutting up trees, and hauling them away. And then we talked to the couple of the crews a little bit about what they were doing and why they were doing it. And it really did bring this human element to the whole event. And again, just really humanize our crews, because I think a lot of times people see, a DOT crew is just this, crew that works, and they don't really understand who they are, or really think about the people behind the crew. So this was just a way to really introduce them. This is another one that we did, and I love this one. This is a great video that, and I love it for a couple reasons. One is that this video was shot completely on an iPhone. And the second thing I love about this video is that this was shot by one of our communication directors, and he is a self-admitted older generation, not technology savvy. So he was super nervous about this, but I gave him some basic video shooting lessons, and he shot this completely on his iPhone, with a microphone that plugs into the iPhone, and it turned out amazing. And I think it kind of just shows and goes to show that you can really make videos with just what you have. It doesn't need to be a big fancy camera. It's just, really, it's just your iPhone and a microphone. We'll talk a little bit about some equipment after our exercise, a little bit later, maybe after our exercise a little bit, because I think a lot of times we get hung up on equipment. We get hung up on, well, I need to have some good equipment to do this. And yes, equipment is important, particularly when it comes to audio. But I don't want people to get too caught up in getting and having nice equipment, because we can tell a story with whatever we have and scale it for any budget. Just a couple of quick stats to sort of sell the storytelling through video. I don't want to harp on this too much, because I know you guys understand the importance of video. That's why you're here. But 78% of people watch videos online every week, and 55% of those watch every single day. 72% of customers prefer learning about a product or service through a video, and viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it through a video. I know that's true for me. I'm a very visual person. I'm a visual learner. So being able to watch and learn through pictures and audio is something that really resonates with me. And as the results of this poll showed, resonates with a lot of people as well. So when I talk about video creation, what I really want to focus on is telling a compelling story, because I think that's where we can get into trouble, is when we just go out and start shooting video, but we don't have a clear understanding of what is the story we want to tell, and so that we can tell it effectively and use that medium to our best ability. So when we plan our message, I always want to ask these three questions. What is my objective? Who is my audience? And then how will I tell this story? Meaning what storytelling path or what storytelling method will I use? Oh, I forgot that was going to be so loud. These are just examples of stories and how story creation is everywhere, and how it doesn't have to be super complicated.
Zach, we seem to have,
There
at
are
least
some
I seem to
stories
have.
that are very, very,
Sorry,
they're
Zach.
very, very complex, and then there are others that are very, very amateur. So, yeah, those stories can just really be what you have at your disposal. And when I say stories are everywhere, I mean stories are everywhere, and we have several different methods, several different mediums of telling those stories. I like to kind of break them down into genres, and this kind of comes from a film storytelling background. We have different ways of telling these stories. We can have historical stories. We can have problem-solving stories that present a problem and then present a solution. We can have quirky or inspirational stories. We can have action or futuristic. We can have fun stories.
Hi, Zach.
So lots of different storytelling aspects. Sorry.
Zach, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, I can hear you.
We've lost your visuals. We're not seeing your presentation anymore.
Oh, no.
Maybe you could try to stop sharing and then share again.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think when I accidentally locked my computer, I probably stopped sharing.
Okay, we're seeing you again.
All right. So once we know how we're going to tell our story, I just want to talk a little bit about what do we need. And again, like I said before, I don't want people to get too caught up on what is it that I need, because I feel like do-it-yourself videos can be scalable. We can work with what we have and scale up from there. I say the basics that we need a digital camera. We need something to capture our audio. And again, phones work amazing. The cameras in smartphones nowadays are better, just as good, if not better, than a lot of the cameras out there. So phones and iPads work great for collecting video. We need a good microphone, and for me, the microphone is kind of what makes or breaks your video. You need to have a really good microphone that's going to capture clean, crisp audio, so that it's not distracting during that video. And there are a lot of really affordable microphones, even for a phone. This one that I have pictured in this slide, this upper right hand lavalier microphone. This is one that I have. It plugs right into the iPhone. It's the one that was used in that video I showed earlier, that was shot on the phone, and it does a really good job of capturing audio. And this, I think this was less than $50. So really, really affordable. And then you can scale up from there. The other microphone I have shown on here is it's a wireless microphone. It's a couple $100. Still pretty affordable, given if that's within your budget. But does a great job of capturing the good audio that you need. Also need a tripod to hold your camera phone steady during those shots, and then a lighting kit. A lighting is also another one of those things that can really make or break a good video, but a really affordable $30 Amazon ring light does wonders to just light up a video. The next thing you'll need is video editing software, and this is again something that's scalable, that can be really, really inexpensive, or you can go really, really expensive. iMovie is a really affordable one that is standard on most Mac computers. Lightworks is another web-based editing tool, so that would work with any computer system. And then you have your more commercial editing softwares like Adobe Premiere, which is still pretty affordable. I believe you can get a subscription for $10 a month for Adobe Premiere and not Adobe Premiere, but I know Adobe Spark you can get a $10 a month subscription for, and Spark is like a simplified version of Adobe Premiere. So very, very affordable options out there. I think it just depends on what fits in your budget and what your comfort level is with some of those systems. My last advice to you is to just do it. To just get out there and to grab your phone, grab your camera, and just make your video, experiment, and get that experience. Don't let that anxiety, that nervousness hold you back from just getting out there and experimenting with video, because I think that's what's really going to help you realize that it's not as scary as I think sometimes we let it be. So that was all I really had to share with you about kind of do-it-yourself videos. And now I wanted to kind of get into an exercise to help everybody go through that storytelling process, because again, I think that's sort of the most important part of the process, at least for me, is identifying what story I'm going to tell and how I'm going to tell it. So Kevin, am I going to throw it back to you to help explain oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going to walk you through the exercise that you guys are going to do. All right. So this is a story mapping exercise, and again, the idea here is that we're going to help you guys think critically about the video story idea. Because I think a lot of times we think you want to create a video. I know I want to create this video, but we need to think through how we're going to do it, and what is the story we're going to tell, and what is it going to look like to the end user. So we're going to divide everybody up into groups, and you are going to choose a participant, somebody that is not a facilitator, to share the screen and fill out the worksheet with the input from the group. So I want you to talk about your ideas and fill out the worksheet based on a topic that you have. And I think the homework that you had that was sent out yesterday talked about come with an idea of a video that you want to share. And that's sort of the idea we want you to work off of. So if somebody has a really good idea of a video they want to work on, that's great. If not, come up with something really simple, like explain a planning process, or explain a project, or show a closure, something like that. It doesn't need to be super involved. The idea of this exercise is we're going to flesh those out. So then as a group, you're going to fill out the worksheet with that video in mind, and pay special attention to some of those details and those specific needs. And it's okay if you don't have enough time to complete this worksheet. Just do as much as you can. We're also going to want you to choose in your group a spokesperson who can report back about how that process went, if there were any places where things got caught up, or if there were anything that was unclear. And we'll give you some time to do that, and then we will come back and discuss about how all of that went.
Okay,
I was going to say,
I think we're going to go ahead.
Included some ideas, and I was just going to say we included some topic ideas in there as well, in case you didn't have any.
That's right, absolutely. Thank you, Zach. Yeah, and so this should be fun. Hopefully, people kind of just get your feet wet, just like Zach said, just do it. And so what you're going to see here in just a moment, we'll be using the Breakout Rooms feature in Microsoft Teams. And Jacob Korn, my colleague who you've seen before in prior days of the workshop, is kind of going to be orchestrating that from behind the scenes. So you should just get a notification here in just a few seconds that says that you're being joined into a breakout room. and then we'll go ahead and work on this exercise. And then after 30 minutes, Jacob will bring us all back together in this same room. A few of you will stay just in this main room, and that'll serve as your breakout room as well. So Jacob, go ahead and Lana, unless you have anything else to say before we start the breakouts.
I would just like our facilitators, so you'll be assigned a facilitator for each room. That's one of the VPI or Federal Highway Administration team to answer any questions, help sort of guide you through the exercise. But you will also want to identify, before you get started thinking about what video topic you want to do and dive into the actual exercise, please identify your note taker who has the PDF up and can take notes. And also the person who will report out for your team. And so our facilitators, that's myself, Kevin, Jacob, Mac, and Zach. If you would just turn on your cameras for a moment and make sure everybody knows who you are. So there's Mac, Kevin's up, I'm here. And Zach, you just heard from, and you hopefully remember Jacob from days 1 and 2. So we'll be your facilitators, one of us in each room. And we'll see you in the breakout rooms.
Great. So I'm going to send you all there now. And if you have any issues, just communicate in the main chat and we can try to sort anything out.
We should be seeing a notice across the screen shortly that says we're going to get pushed into a breakout room shortly.
Great. So there should be about 10, maybe 15 of you that are just staying in this main room with me. Since I'm kind of the organizer of the meeting, I'm not able to create a breakout room, but we thought this would be a way just to kind of have a group in here as well. And this accommodates folks who are on the phone who also aren't able to join the breakout rooms. But as Lana mentioned, I think just before we jump in, hopefully you guys all have the worksheet already. But I think we could just start off by, if we could designate someone as the note taker who can just pull this document up and we can fill it out together. And then we'll also need someone for the report out. So do we have any volunteers who'd be interested in taking on one of those 2 tasks?
I can report out. I'm probably not a good note taker.
Okay, great. That was you, Scott, right?
Yeah.
Great. And I do have the document. Oh, go ahead, James.
I did just convert the PDF we received earlier today into a Word document, so I think I can take notes on that.
Okay. Yeah, would you be able to just share your screen and we can talk through it together? We have about 30 minutes to kind of work through it.
Yeah, I'll share my screen.
Awesome. Thanks.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
It's still coming up for me. There it is. Great. Thanks so much. So yeah, I think we'll be able to work through mainly the questions on the second page. But kind of what we asked in the email was for you all to come with an idea for kind of a video that you might be interested in making, that there's been some discussion in your agency around potentially putting together, or that you just think is something down the road you might be interested in. So I guess before we really jump in, either James, we could leave it up to you to kind of lead the way and come up with an idea, or if anyone else in the group has kind of an idea for a video that they've been brainstorming or anything like that, feel free to speak up because we'll need that idea to get this started.
I'm happy to take notes, but I'll leave it open-ended for idea generation.
Great.
Hi, this is Christian Meyer. I don't necessarily have a burning idea I want to put forward, but I find that long-range plans, it's really hard to engage the public on sort of that long-range visioning sometimes. So that might be a fun one.
Okay, awesome. And Christian, where are you joining us from? Are you from an MPO, state DOT?
I'm from a regional planning commission in Vermont. So we handle we have a program in Vermont, the Transportation Planning Initiative, which connects us with sort of the federal planning process.
Perfect. Yeah, so if there are any, that sounds good to me. I think that's relevant, obviously, to just about everyone. So unless there are any objections, I think we can roll with that. Does that work for everyone?
Sounds good.
Cool. So yeah, I think there's those first questions. I'm not totally sure what Zach means by slug, but I think just kind of a quick description and proposed length. So I think description, yeah, exactly. I think just trying to get feedback for a long range plan. I think proposed length. I think shorter videos are always better. Helps kind of keep folks' attention. What do people think about like a 3 to 5 minute video? Does that feel long? Does that feel short? What do people think about that?
We've done some videos through the Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission, and we do videos as short as 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think as far as attention, definitely the 3 to 5. Once we get beyond that, we're going to start losing people.
Perfect. Yeah. So maybe we could just say like a 2 minute video. That would work. And the kind of purpose, it sounds like Christian would be probably to kind of share information about the long range plan, and then also at the same time probably offer information about opportunities for input. Is there anything else that you think we'd want to note there?
Yeah, no, I think that sums it up. I'd put it under one word, just engagement. So it's transmitting the understanding, but then also soliciting responses and input.
Perfect. Cool. So I think we can maybe start getting into the questions. The first being, sorry, Susan, were you saying something?
Sorry, this is Emily.
Oh.
I just was going to say that under the idea, may want to emphasize in engaging your audience as to why it's important to participate, and not just when the opportunities are, but why it's a good idea. To try to engage, try to engage the audience to take the action that you're hoping they'll take as a result of watching the video.
Definitely. That's a good point. I think that leads us really well into kind of what the objective of the video is as well.
If I miss anything, let me know. I'll go back and get it. I'm jumping around a little bit, but
No, for sure. You're doing great. Thank you.
I think, hi there, this is Eleni. I think that another part of the objective of the video is to receive input from the general public. So that might be a second objective.
Great. Thanks, Eleni. Yeah, I think input and engagement.
Right.
That's a good point. Yeah. Great. So why don't we move down into that next question, kind of asking what aspects of this video does your organization care about? So let's say we're looking at this, I think, as a smaller, as an RPC, thinking through kind of what are the most important things that we care about and what do we really want to get across in this video?
And I think I'd echo what Emily said earlier, which was, why it's important to contribute at this stage in the process. Sort of looking at some of these massive MTPs that we put together, often public's not going to jump into it. If there's a way you can distill that into manageable bites, that I guess that's 2 points I'm putting forward. So both the issues and the value of the input.
Anything else folks want to note there? Should we move on to that next question?
I think maybe it's important to emphasize or to set expectations for what the plan is.
Mm-hmm.
This is a long-range document. It's not something that's immediate. These are, it's just 20-year time horizon. It's not something that is happening tomorrow. But to set expectations for what the time horizon is.
Great.
Yeah, this is Eleni again. I totally agree with that. Expectations are very important. I also think that we need to just start with the vision. We probably have a vision of what the transportation future is in whatever part of the world we are. So maybe we can start with that, and then we can just move on to the expectations, and then to basically talk about the engagement. That's the way I would think about it.
Okay. And then just keeping us moving. So I know we're gonna might run out of time. I know we don't have too much time in these groups. So getting at why this is important to your organization. I think this a little bit of overlap between these questions, but is there anything kind of different that we want to say here about why it's so critical to really get input for the long range plan?
I think, like Alani said, just to help provide that vision of, we may have a vision, but also what's the public's vision of the future of transportation?
Absolutely.
And their vision may be different than ours, to understand what theirs is.
For sure. Yeah, make sure we're hearing from kind of a diverse group of voices and not always just the loudest ones.
Mm.
Okay. If there's nothing else there, getting into our audience. Who do people think the audience is in this situation?
The general public.
Absolutely. Do you think are there specific maybe subsets of the public that we might want to specify, people who maybe we think a video would be more effective at reaching, who are sometimes kind of harder to reach through maybe more traditional means?
I think that's a great question. I think that if you're going to target different audiences, then you're going to need to have many different videos.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is going to be one for the general public. If you're targeting new Americans, it's going to be different. If you're targeting underserved populations, it's going to be different. So I think we need to be really cognizant about that as we move forward with this.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think videos, I think Zach noted in his presentation, are just a good way to reach younger populations as well, since they're so easy to share on social media, especially these kind of just 2-minute short clips. So I think they can be a good way, maybe younger folks who are sometimes harder to engage in the planning process can definitely be reached through videos. It's a good opportunity.
But the important thing is we're trying to reach everybody with this, as opposed to maybe some videos that target a population or a group or an area. And that is kind of going to be the tough part, to get everyone.
Yeah, no, I think that might be a good question for our facilitated discussion, just thinking through how we can really use videos to get everyone, because not everything's going to be perfect, but make sure we're not excluding folks through certain kind of productions or things such as that. So this next question, what aspects of this idea does your audience care about?
I think maybe they care about, what aspects of the process or the plan they can influence.
That's a great point.
That kind of is a tough part. I know when we were working on our long range plan of, it's not an immediate that, okay, there's a project going by in front of my house. I'm really excited about that. There's that long range aspect. People really want to know more about the project. So it is difficult with a long range plan to really get people to, want to be involved and have that buy-in. So that's one thing we're going to work on, is that, this helps to push that vision for the future and give us your input for that. But it's harder to reach people, I think, because of that long-term aspect too. Or to engage.
I added one here too. How will the plan affect my life and mobility? So
yeah, I think that's good. I think trying to make things personal in videos is really important. So making people think about how things are really going to affect their lives is a good point to add there.
Yeah, again, the process, making the ideas clear about the process to the audience, that this isn't going to get that road repaved in front of their house, but this is a time to bring up those big ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to that next one. Thinking through kind of how we're going to distribute this video. So what do people think? I think definitely on kind of the agency website is obviously where we want to be posting it, but that probably isn't the best way to reach as many people as possible. So kind of where else does it make sense to post this video once it's complete?
Definitely YouTube.
I know this is a little old school, but I'd say like local cable access.
No, yeah, that's a great point, to make sure that we're catching people who might not be on the internet or might not be on kind of YouTube or social media, for sure.
And Facebook. I mean, now the kids aren't into Facebook. It's us older folks. So hitting all the different versions of social media,
Mhm.
maybe even TikTok to get the real. Yeah.
I really like Eventbrite. Eventbrite, I think, is a great way to pick up people that are just generally curious about what's going on in their community. Or meetup.com, something like that.
And how, I guess I've used Eventbrite more just kind of to register for things. Are you able to distribute kind of content through there as well?
Yeah, it links to whatever you're using. So if you're using YouTube for a live video or
Okay.
recorded video, or Facebook for a live video or recorded video, it links all that to your registration. But also, when you post an event on Meetup, if somebody's just going in there looking for something to do, your event shows up in the feed of things that they
Oh.
could do with their time. So that's kind of nice.
So if we had
That's
a
neat.
meeting on the long range plan, that would be a way to do that and tie that in. Cool. That's a great idea.
Anything else we're missing there? It seems like a pretty good list to me. Okay. So what kind of storytelling format do you think would be appropriate for this situation? Zach's listed a few options there. But is there something I think, no, go ahead.
Cult classic.
Yeah, I mean, I think this video needs to be definitely, the purpose is informative, but I think it's a good point that, like, what would be the most interesting way to kind of get this information across? What kind of format?
I think another one that would be kind of cool, I was just thinking as we're talking, almost like a music type video. We had someone do one locally talking about our transit, but just thinking a few different, life is a highway, magic bus, bridge over troubled water. You could have a few different clips from each one of those, and kind of talk about the different types of mobility and transportation. Or you just go the basic telling them the story, but I like the idea of some of these funny things. I could also see maybe the front office is not wanting to go too quirky or funny either, and just being pure, educational. But to catch some people, you're going to really need to hit some of these innovative methods.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's definitely a balancing act between being cute and quirky, but also kind of making sure that we're still a public agency and this is important. And yeah, we can't kind of get too, I think, silly with some of these videos. So yeah, I think that might be another, maybe chat with Zach during the facilitated discussion about kind of finding that balance. I think is probably an art that you find over time, but I'm sure he has some ideas.
Yeah.
I think we saw it when he was giving the examples of somebody riding the train. They were talking about the train. It's like, that's classic modeling behavior, right? So you could do something like that. Do videos while people are out moving around in various modes of transportation.
Yeah.
All right, so if we go on to this next question, what visual elements do you want to include? And as Zach mentioned, I think it's really important here to be as detailed and specific as possible, so that you can kind of make sure you're getting the shots that you want and obviously the content that you need for the video.
I think, like James just said, getting people on or using different modes would be a great way.
Yeah. I think here including kind of QR codes or links so that it's easy for people to see how they're going to be able to kind of get engaged is important. And obviously finding ways to make that as easy as possible.
Can you describe a little more about, so like in a video you'll put that, or maybe like in the description down below, or?
Yeah, I would think, I guess I'm not by no means the expert, but I would think in a video, if you kind of say, we want you to fill out this survey or provide input, you could just show the QR code and ask people to kind of give people the opportunity to click on it, and then definitely in the description put any links as well, so that people can easily kind of click on them. I think links in the video itself aren't the best way, since people aren't able to kind of easily copy and paste it, but the description's a great place to kind of put that stuff.
Yeah. A link to get them there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In real concrete terms, I'm curious to what ideas people might have for a long range plan. Often they're somewhat abstract. Not abstract, it's not they're not that either, but it's so far off the long-term vision. Just trying to picture what that would look like in practice. Boarding the Amtrak, crumbling bridges. Traffic accidents.
I think those are options. I think if kind of it's to say it's a growing region, I think you can show images of new construction, and if you're trying to promote kind of active transportation, showing bike lanes and businesses, kind of getting real shots of downtowns. I think I've seen videos that more use kind of cartoon animations as well, so that it's might get maybe a little bit more of what we were talking about earlier, which is trying to make the video maybe a little bit more fun and animated. So I know I've seen some of those as well in the past.
Mm-hmm. And I think the key thing too is this video, where it's only going to be 2 to 3 minutes. It's really to get people to then drive them to whether it's a survey or what we might have for the long range plan. So that's where we can get their input. And it's really just to, maybe quickly show the different modes, that it's not just, roads. I mean, people so often think, oh, DOT, highways, that's it, highways and bridges. And there's, so much aviation, transit, ferries, all that. So, maybe to show and focus on those other modes, and people, like James said, show them on those other modes, and then say, if you want to have a vision of, give us your vision of what you feel transportation should be. Show the bike ped, show many of those other different ways of getting around.
Mm-hmm. Emily, I see your hands up.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
My screens keep cutting out. I don't know why, like they keep going black. But anyway, yeah, they just did it again. I was just thinking that I think a lot of the audience, most of the time, if you're reaching a broad audience, there's going to be a lot of people who've never heard of a long-range transportation plan before and don't really know what it is. And so if the video could sort of start out with somebody who doesn't know what a long-range transportation plan is, and then sort of use the main portion of the content to like let people know what it is, and then at the end have the same person having like an aha moment about participating in the process, then you'd have that opportunity to introduce that sort of humor element at the beginning and the end with the person that you're using as an example, and that could be your way to incorporate in something funny and memorable, and then use the middle part to get across the information that you're trying to give the people that are watching.
Cool.
Like a guy driving around with their kid and getting stuck in traffic and, shaking their fist at the traffic, like, what am I ever going to do about this? and then teach them about the long range transportation plan, and then show the adult kid showing up to visit their elderly parent on time because the the transportation system is functioning because they participated in the plan.
Great. So I know we're starting to get close to time, so let's jump down to that next question about obstacles and challenges. And I think that this really, I think, refers more to kind of the creation and production of the video. So what do you foresee as kind of being a potential difficulty? I know Zach mentioned that kind of an iPhone or another smartphone is a great way to produce these videos. So I think that the technology has become super accessible, which is fantastic. But what could be just some issues and being able to pull this all together?
Well, one thing that you have to keep in mind, aside from just the production aspects of the video, is how are you going, the video is just a product. You also have to develop a whole marketing campaign to let people, to encourage people to watch the video. Just posting it on the website or posting it on YouTube, you're not going to necessarily drive people to the video. So maybe you need to develop postcards that you send out to the community, and then you include the link and information about the video. Or you use social media, or you put flyers, and you put flyers under the doors of certain neighborhoods, etc. So you have to think about how are you going to push the video out, not just the creation of the video.
It's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
I would add that, you know, these type of outreach campaigns work best when it's a combination of online or virtual public engagement and physical public engagement. So it'd be really good to find ways to incorporate in-person events either into the video content or incorporate engagement across both in-person and virtual. So that could be a challenge, you know, trying to incorporate that into a video, or vice versa, trying to incorporate a video into an in-person event.
And I think outside of the production of it too is, and the marketing is just making sure anyone that might say no, you're working with them up front of here's what we're planning to do. So again, we don't get into that of we have a cute little video and they think, no, it's too cute and you're not going to be able to show it. So make sure we get that buy-in all the way.
For sure, for sure. Any final comments here? We're gonna pull folks back in just a minute. So just if any folks have anything else, and I also would just want to make sure people see on the last page that there's kind of a useful list of just kind of tips that Zach has provided for you as you're getting ready to kind of go out and do this on your own, hopefully. And definitely recommend that you kind of just give a close read through these, and if you have any questions, bring them up in the discussion later on. But I think these are just kind of a great place to start if you don't have kind of that much experience yet with videos. But no, this was great. Scott, are you good still to be our report out?
I was muted. Yes, I'll do the best I can.
Great,
I'll give
great.
it a shot.
And I guess, yeah, James, you can just maybe share your screen again so Scott can read off of it during the report out.
Great.
Cool. Well, this was a lot of fun. I'm gonna close the room now and see you all shortly.